Welcome back. Long time. And you can see we are going to discuss Germany today. And the reason we're going to do Germany is because they're one of the most fascinating teams going into every tournament as far as my choices are concerned. And I've always followed Germany and German football quite closely. I've been a Klopp fan all my life. I wanted Dortmund to win this final. Of course, did. I believe everyone wanted Dortmund to win this time. But anyways, now the things that we're going to discuss in this video is we're going to go quickly through the names that are in this 27 man team, and one of these, a very unlucky person, will be removed because I believe it's only 26 member squad that is allowed in the Euros, and the names are quite clear. Like it's Neuer, then Ter Stegen. In defense, it's Rudiger, Tah, and Schlotterbeck, and Hendricks, and David Raum. Midfield, again, you've got Kimmich, who is very versatile. You've got Gundogan, you've got Pascal Gross, who is probably the most versatile and adaptable player in this whole list. You've got Andrik, who is at the end of a great season. You've got Pavlovic. In the front line, you've got people like Sane, you've got people like Woods and Fulkrug, Harvard. So there are options. There are people who are adaptable. There are people who are experienced. There are people who are capable of executing specific instructions, which is very important in tournament football because a big aspect of tournament football is actually game management. And if you have got players who are adaptable, who are versatile, who execute certain specific instructions, I think it's a great benefit to have. And I don't believe so many countries have it, but Germany going into every tournament have always had it, in my opinion, and they have it again this time. And they have a dynamic and aggressive coach who is going to use them really well. So let's get into the best starting 11 that I believe Germany can put out in the Euros, and not just the best starting 11, but also the best way to approach games tactically. Now, while preparing for this video, I was actually preparing a back three slash back five formation for Germany because I thought that is the best way to suit a lot of players. But then when I was working on it, I do realize that nah, this is not going to work. They need a back four because the kind of players they've got, especially in the attacking areas, need a back four because if you've got a back three or a back five, there's limitations in terms of the players that you can pick up front. So I went with the back four. Now it's a 4-3-3 slash a 4-2-3-1 as the attack. But the reason I've gone with Schlotterbeck, which I think a lot of you might notice and say, why not Jonathan Tah? Because I'm looking at a lot of analysts out there who have already made their mind that the best centre back pairing for Germany in a back four at the Euros is Antonio Rudiger and Jonathan Tah. Now, for some reason, I simply cannot agree with that because one major asset that Schlotterbeck has is he's left footed. Now, is it that I'm picking him because he's just left footed? No, he's a brilliant defender along with being a left footed defender, which is an added benefit, which I think anyone who is interested in modern football understands the benefit of having a left footed centre back. Every top club is looking for one right now. That's why we saw Man City spending 80 million pounds on Guardiola. That's why we saw Arsenal picking up Gabriel when he was very young. That's why we saw Arsenal go for Kivior when he was very young. That's one of the biggest reasons why Ten Hag went for Lisandro Martinez. That's one of the biggest reasons why David Alaba was actually approached by Real Madrid because left-footed centre halves is a very rare thing to have. But now they're increasing in numbers and their importance is also increasing with that. So I've gone with Schlotterbeck because I believe the passing range that he provides is massive. I think his pace is really good. I think he's good in the air. And when you have a left-footed player here, you know the kind of passes that he can play in this angle and this angle. You simply don't have that angle if you have a right-footed defender. Now, does that mean I'm saying Jonathan Tah is not a good player? No, he's an excellent defender. But the reason I'm going with Schlotterbeck is because he's left-footed, and that gives you a whole different dimension while you build out from the back. We saw the pass he played to Fulkrug in the first leg for that goal. He just got the ball out a yard. He played a lovely ball, a simple ball. That was just a simple pass. But even the accuracy of that pass, the vision to play that pass, and the reason he could play that pass is because he was a left-footed player. One pass, PSG were done and it was a goal. Of course, credit to Fulkrug for being so clinical up there. But Schlotterbeck's vision and his pass, because he was left-footed, he was able to actually execute that skill in that moment. And I think Germany could actually end up in a similar situation, if they're struggling to play through the lines, Schlotterbeck might just have the ball here. Sane making this run, Fulkrug or Wirtz, whoever is playing making this run, Havertz or Gnabry. These guys making runs because they're unable to play through. Schlotterbeck's passing range is going to help Germany a lot. Now that's enough for Schlotterbeck. And I want you all to actually give me a feedback on that, because do you agree with me? Do you think I'm right? And there is another way which I genuinely believe could work. For that, there has to be a whole shift in the way Germany build up, which I think is actually the right way for Germany to build up. And that's where actually Rom does not play. You actually get Tar as a center back, Schlotterbeck as a defensive left back, of course, because he's not that, Alfonso Davis or Mendy kind of all the way down the flank. He's not that kind of a level fullback. He's a center back. Now, in this, how Germany can build up is actually based and inspired from the way Arsenal built up under Arteta. Liverpool recently started building up under Klopp from the latter half of last season. I mean, the 2022-23 season. And what we are learning from teams is this box midfield. Guardiola has done that, Arteta has done that, Klopp has done that, Tottenham have done that. They create this box in the midfield, and if you want to do that, then the good news for German fans is you can get Rudiger, Jonathan Tah, and Schlotterbeck in the same back line, because now you're building up with the box, which also, by the way, plays to the strength of Joshua Kimmich, which also plays to the strength of Andrik, which also plays to the strength of Ilkay Gundogan and Toni Kroos and Pavlovic. Because in a box midfield, what's going to happen? Let's say they start the play from Neuer. And when they start it, we see what teams do while this box midfield. Kimmich will come inside as an inverted fullback. Rudiger will take up the space. Tah will come here, and Schlotterbeck will be here. It almost is like a back three. It's a back three with a double pivot in front. A double pivot allows Kimmich, because this is the zone where he's the best. He's a good right back. But this zone, if you get Kimmich on the ball in this zone, he's very, very efficient. You can get Kroos here if you want and get Kimmich slightly up the pitch. You can get Kimmich here and maybe Pavlovic slightly up the pitch. You can get Gundogan a little back. And if you want to go more attacking, you can get Havertz in it. So there are so many options that Germany have, which is a great news for German fans. But if they actually build up this way, how I'm saying here, with a box midfield, which allows them to create numerical advantage in the midfield, because if any of you followed this box midfield trend that happened last season and this season, was like numerical advantage in the midfield, creating as many numerical advantage as you can, because if these four are marked, Wirtz will come in. If he is marked, he'll go outside, Sane will come in, and eventually you will always have one member in the middle of the pitch free, where you can play him the pass and break the lines of the opposition. So if they want to build up with the box midfield, I believe it's a great, great tool to have, where they can have these four players here. They can get it to Rudiger. Tah can again come into support. You again have this box midfield. You have Sane as well, who can go long. These people for the short options. You've got these people here. Wirtz as a false nine. Or if you play Fulkrug, he will destroy all the defenses by his runs and his physicality and his hold-up play, allowing all of these people to get in the game. Musiala is a different threat. I think they should go with him on the wing, because they've got too many really good midfielders. And secondly, I really think in these kind of tournaments, your midfield needs to be very good defensively, very responsible, very aware, and very, I don't know how to put it, but I don't think there is a space for a player like Musiala, because I put Musiala in a similar category to Phil Foden, to Cole Palmer, to Jude Bellingham maybe. And the reason is all of them play in the front line. Maybe not Jude Bellingham, but Palmer and Foden and Musiala all play as a winger, because in these kind of tournaments, you need your midfield to be slightly more defensively assured, because you don't want to lose games. You don't want to concede too many goals. You don't want your backline to be under pressure. And that's why your midfield needs to be really, really robust. That's why I think Musiala should be on the wing. Now, that's where I think a box midfield can really help them. Again, I'm going to repeat the same thing that I do 100 times in every video. I want your feedback. I want to know what you think of the system, of this box midfield, which is very, very in trend by the end of last season and this season. It did go out of trend a little bit last season, but I think for Germany, this could be a great way to build up, because you get Rudiger, Tah, and Schlotterbeck all in the lineup. You get Kimmich on the ball in the positions that he loves to. You create numerical advantage, which helps the players like Wirtz and Sane and Musiala. And now you can see maybe I've written the Cruz slash Pablo, which is because Cruz is 34, and as brilliant as he is, as fit as he is, I think there will be times when Cruz might need some rest and might not be able to go the full way in a 90-minute game, and that's where I think someone like Pavlovich comes in. Even Havertz, if you need a goal, put him instead of Gundogan. You know how he's playing in that 8.5 kind of newly created role under Arteta. He can provide a lot. Wirtz, in my opinion, should be starting as the number nine, as the false number nine, who makes these kind of runs and these kind of runs. And if there is so much chaos in here, he can might drop deep and pick the ball in these areas, then dribble in this direction, pick passes for Musiala, pick passes for Mane, letting people go beyond him, and then he can pick them, and also going beyond himself and getting on the end of the long balls from people like Schlotterbeck, people like Kimmich, people like Andrik, people like Neuer, who has got a great passing range, by the way. And if you are near the end of the game, you need a goal battery, of course you take out Wirtz and you send out Fulcrum. What it does is it absolutely destroys the defense, because so far they were dealing with a false nine or a less physical striker who is a completely different challenge compared to someone who's gonna bang every time you get the ball, bang, there's gonna be a long ball, he's gonna come bang. And that absolutely creates so much chaos and discomfort in the back four that is actually allows you to create second ball situations where people like Cruz and Wirtz and Gundogan and Sane and Musiala can come in and take shots from zone 14, 22-yard range. And that's why I think Wirtz should start. And if the game is not going the way you want it to go, you want to be a bit more direct. That's where I think people like Havertz and people like Fulkrug come in. So based on everything I've said here, it's been a very basic analysis. I haven't gone much into the stats. I haven't gone very deep into the tactics, but I've gone on the basic approach with what I think Germany should play. Based on everything I've said, I would be grateful if I can get some feedback in terms of what do you think, in terms of if you think this box midfield makes sense. I do, because you get all of these back three in the team with Kimmich in a position where he would love to operate on the ball, and it gives you a lot of options. It allows you to create a numerical advantage. So if you think I'm making sense, then let me know. If you think I'm not making sense at all, of course let me know, because I don't think you understand how much seriously I take when I receive negative feedbacks. Negative not in terms of abuse, but negative in like, bro, what you're saying is clearly wrong. And if you do that, and if you explain why I'm wrong, you have no idea how much I love it. That's all for this video, and I hope to see you very, very soon. Bye.